Thank everybody for coming out to a signing day 2018 2.0, according to John Wagner. But again, excited about the small group that we were able to get in the second signing period. We were able to bring in a few guys that will definitely have the opportunity to compete, early in their career. One of them at a position of need by the name of Presley Moats, a tight end, coming in from junior college. He's a kid that's been on a mission, kind of a grown man, 23 years old, and he brings a lot of leadership. And we can't wait to get him out here and get him with us. The other two kids right now are high school kids. Carl Brooks from Michigan. We told you we were going to go big game hunting. And what we meant by that, we're bringing in guys that had the opportunity to contribute right now from a physical standpoint. This is a 6'4", 250-pound kid that can run sub-15 in the 110s. Doesn't come around too often. So Coach did a great job of getting Carl in the boat. And the second one is Cameron Stage. Cameron Stage, big offensive lineman, played guard or tackle. Again, very skilled young man. Had a ton of offers late in his junior year, and we were able to get him up here to Bowling Green. Still got some unfinished business left to do today. We've got until midnight tonight if I understand the rules correctly. But with that, I'll take any questions.
When you mentioned that you were big game hunting, you were looking for guys to have an impact right away. Is this group of three, is that the idea?
Definitely. I mean, what we wanted to do, we took a look at our class as a whole, and wanted to see what our needs might be. And when I mean by our needs, I mean our immediate needs in 18, even 19 season. And the one that kind of stuck out the most was that tight end position. We feel great about Jake and James. They're going to be they're both just high character kids, great athletes, and will be tremendous for Bowling Green State University. But at the same time, they're 18 years old. And from a skill standpoint, it's a little bit easier for those guys to come in and make a difference at a young age. But we wanted to bring in an older tight end, and we were able to solidify that spot. And then with the other two spots, we just kind of felt like there were a few high school kids out there that, for whatever reason, had gotten lost in the shuffle. Things got crazy with this early signing period. We wanted to put our best foot forward, and we put all our efforts into those kids and really recruited them hard, and we were fortunate to get them here.
With Moats in particular, is that you had mentioned you weren't just going to give out and fill that position just to fill it.
Correct.
I take it you feel that's not what happened.
No, he's a physical kid. Just an impressive man. From the second that he walks into this facility, he's going to make a difference both on and off the football field.
How was this year's January different than years past with that early signing period?
This year's January,
yeah.
It was a lot. I'm going to say a lot less stressful, in that you kind of knew what you had, and we were really only after 4 guys. When you're out there and you've got a class of 24, 25 to fill, and you really don't know which way these guys are going to know, it can make for a ton of sleepless nights. And we were able to put a lot more time and energy into solidifying these final 3, 4 spots, what have you. But the thing that I enjoyed the most was the opportunity to get out and get amongst those high school coaches. And the thing, we joked about it with Bob Moosberg, our AD. I said, look, man, we're going to save money. I'm not taking a flight this whole time. We're going to hit the area. We're going to hit the state of Ohio. We're going to hit Michigan. We're going to hit within a 3-hour driving radius, and we were able to do that. Spent a day in Cleveland, spent a day in Columbus, a day in Indiana, and just really got to as many high schools as I possibly could, and really enjoyed it. A day in Toledo, I really enjoyed it, and I think the high school coaches did as well.
Now that this 2018 signing class is mostly signed, what is the overall strength of this class?
Well, really, it's balanced. I think that what you always try to do, or what we looked to do in this class, we wanted to be sure that we brought in some tackle bodies up front from offensive line standpoint. We felt like we addressed the defensive line and our general lack of size up front in last year's class and this year was just kind of filling in those pieces, man. And we talk about building this roster kind of the right way. One of the things that I'm really most impressed with is moving forward, you'll see these signing days, tend to stagger a little bit. I think next year our number 17 that we'll be working on, and that's when you start to feel good as an old ball coach, because you're not losing those kids. Retention's the issue, right? You're not losing those kids because of grades, because of getting in trouble. You're starting to lay the foundation of a real, true football program.
You haven't had the success on the field you wanted to. How has that translated to recruiting? What have those conversations been like?
Well, it's been tough. I mean, it's not easy. I guarantee you that. And my hat's off to our coaching staff, because really they're in front of those young men and their parents more so than I am. When I get them here, their foot's halfway in. It's my job to get them to jump all the way in. So again, my hat's off to our coaching staff. They've done a great job of just building those relationships and painting and helping those kids see our vision. And really, to be honest with you, when you look at the numbers and you look at the opportunity here, because it's about relationships and it's about a fit. And when you go out and you say, look, here's where we are, here's where our depth chart is. We played 14 of these guys last year, and we're still a year behind, a year off where we want to be. So that part in itself wasn't a very difficult sell.
Speaking of your coaching staff, the last couple of months you've had some changes on that staff. How has Carl impacted what you've done the last couple of months and going forward?
Well, Carl was involved with Carl Brooks's recruitment, and it's just been great over the last couple of weeks. Just as we get ready for spring football, we're starting our installations this morning, actually, with our student athletes, and it's just been great to bounce ideas off a guy that's been in my shoes. So I've enjoyed that. I've appreciated that. He's got instant credibility. From the time he's gotten in front of that defensive room, you can tell all eyes and all hearts were on him. He's very analytical. He definitely takes his time and makes sure that he's very thorough in his approach. We've also got Jimmy Williams on staff as well, and my goodness, is he an impressive man. Got an opportunity to really get to know him and to get to know his story a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. And you're talking, because you look at the resume, this, that, and the other, and you just look at what the guy's accomplished. Then you get to know him a little bit, and you sit down with him, and you kind of realize where he came from, and what he's all about. He's talking about a walk-on in Nebraska. A kid that's from the inner city. Got a chance to spend, and I didn't know it till I did a home visit with him. He's talking to the parents. I'm like, oh my goodness, But he's going to have an unbelievable impact on our football program. Guys, he's going to have an unbelievable impact on our community. Both those guys are. We're lucky to have them, and again, I can't wait to continue to work with them.
Where do things stand with your other two coaching positions?
Well, we've got 2 spots left to fill. What I'll tell you is one spot. We've got a guy that we've kind of made an offer to. We've got to let this thing, it's got to play its course.
The administrative process, I take it?
There's a human resource piece that has to run its course. So let's not jinx anything at this moment. And when everything's as it should be, I'll let you guys know.